Played a lot of Magic yesterday. We were here for a very, very long time, 10 rounds of action. But for the players who made it into day number 2, they're happy to be here. Some have had to wait a little while to play another match here, like Collins and Zach, but it's their time to shine, and we will see who will win and keep their dream alive of playing in day number 3 of competition. As Collins is on 6, he's going to play Breeding Pool untapped. That's a Noble Hierarch, and we are underway here in our lower bracket. So a little bit of acceleration, not too much of a surprise there. Mullen has plenty of that in his deck. But Alan knows what the key cards are, and really, if Mullen tries to just win through a conventional attacking and blocking style game, he's got no shot.
We've seen that before. With Alan's game plan, essentially is fend off the combo and force the game to be on the battlefield about attacking and blocking. The Devoted Devastation deck can play that sort of game a little bit, and in fact, we watched Johnny Hobbs lose a game.
Young Johnny Hobbs.
Lose a game and match to just losing in combat to the deck. But that's not the primary game plan. And Alan is really well equipped to play that style of game, mostly on the strength of Stoneforge Mystic. So as long as he can prevent the combo from coming out, it's not like that totally resolves the game on its own, because the Devoted Devastation deck can win in combat, but Alan is really well equipped to play that sort of game.
Yeah, I think he's very well situated for that game, as you did mention. He's got Okos, he's got equipment, he's got Path to Exiles, Ice Fang Kodal.
Yeah.
So if you want to do the creature thing, I think he's pretty good to go there too. So it's going to be about getting the combo online, I think, if you're Collins, Mullen, and Zach actually has some pretty good ways to stop that from happening too. So we will see how this game will play, as this is a Devoted Druid, and Zach Allen's going to be put to the test right away. You can see in Collins' Mullen hand, he does have a copy of Vizier of Remedies, so infinite mana could be online next turn. Does Zach Allen have the answer to stop that? He'll sack a fetch land. One thing I love about watching Zach play, ignoring his very high-level expert play, of course, is he's got some nice Magic cards. Some really nice Magic cards. If you're into foils,
sweet collection,
which I'm into, then you like what he is up to as far as how his cards look. 3 mana. Could be a good time to go to Teferi or Oko. Either one's good. This was his plan. This was his plan coming into the weekend. He wanted to play these 3 mana Planeswalkers ahead of schedule, better than anybody else in the metagame, and he felt like if he could find the best deck that does that, he would have a very good opportunity to win this tournament, or at least the modern portion of it. And thus far, he has demonstrated that that plan is working.
And this is just too much too soon. It is going to be challenging for Mullen to play the game through this Oko if he can't get it off the battlefield this turn. Really like to see another copy of Noble Hierarch, maybe, to be able to get enough Exalted onto the battlefield to finish off the Oko. But if Alan just goes to the next turn with a handful of cards, a bunch of mana, and an Oko, it's going to be very challenging for Mullen to combo out this game.
We're going to head back over to Mullen, who can attack that Oko for 4 right now. 3/3 Elk plus an Exalted trigger with the Noble Hierarch would deal 4, so he needs just 1 more, and the Oko problem is solved. But even solving the Oko problem is not like the Devoted Druid turns back into a Devoted Druid then.
No. Alan still gets his money's worth, even in that scenario.
Looks like Mullen's going to sacrifice a fetch. Now, he actually did draw a Noble Hierarch.
It's a big test to pass. He's still not in the clear yet by any stretch, but he's through the worst of it.
And now that is a Gilded Goose. Make a food and pass the turn back. Now, one thing we do know is that can Zach Allen deal with a 3/3 creature? Oh, yeah. Zach's got plenty of ways to do that. Ice Fang Kodal, Path to Exile.
Yep.
Teferi could bounce it if he wanted to. I think that particular creature he doesn't care to bounce, but he can handle this stuff.
Yeah, Mullen passed the first test here, but if the game slogs down into what's going on the battlefield, we're kind of playing this conventional attacking and blocking game, Alan is an overwhelming favorite to play that sort of game to success.
And there is a Batter Skull for the Stoneforge Mystic. You know, this is kind of the evolution of Stoneblade now. Now we're in Snowblade territory. But more importantly, once Stoneforge Mystic got unbanned, people are trying to figure out what was the best way to build these decks. I think Zach Allen may have found it.
Well, I think the addition of the flash creatures, which are really good just to play on their own, a lot of rate there. Get Stoneforge Mystic over the line. You now have enough plausible things to put the equipment on. Before, you were just sort of tutoring up Batterskull and hoping that was good enough.
Yep.
And, now there's enough value in getting swords and such with these flash creatures that Stoneforge Mystic can be a much more dominant feature.
And Ice Fang Kotal's a lot there. You see that come in. It's going to draw a card. It's got Death Touch because of the number of snow permanents on the battlefield. Now it solves the problem of that 5/5 creature attacking.
Now, Mullen's deck does have a couple copies of Eternal Witness, so that Devoted Druid dying could still be good for Mullen if he's able to get it out of the graveyard. But he's running light on cards. He's got a lot of mana, but not a whole lot to do with it. And it's not like he has that many premium cards in this spot.
There's the Vizier of Remedies. And if you're Zach Allen, that doesn't scare you. And it looks like he's going to deploy the other Viziers. That means Collins is empty-handed, and that means the only thing that Zach doesn't know is the top card of Collins' deck, so he can play pretty straightforward here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that Stoneforge Mystic will be putting Batterskull onto the battlefield in short order. Mullen has no path to the combo on the battlefield and no cards in hand. Mm-hmm. And if Mullen just has a couple of creatures that don't really amount to much, Allen should be able to cruise to a victory pretty easily from here.
Man, this is what these Stoneforge Mystic decks have been slicing and dicing for quite a while now. So Allen's going to sacrifice a fetch land. He'll fall down to 17. He'll get himself a snow-covered island. May just be the best modern deck in the tournament. I really, really like his deck.
Yeah, it's lined up well. I mean, he's definitely been the beneficiary of so much Devoted Devastation. Wasn't our expectation looking at the deck list initially, but he has been cruising in this matchup.
And one of the things that's been really good for him is, he hasn't really run anything that's all that scary. I think maybe the scariest deck he'd play against is Matthew Dilks, who is playing Amulet Titan, of course.
I think maybe Dominic Harvey would be a matchup he would want to avoid.
Okay.
I'm not saying it would be totally lopsided, but, he doesn't interact with lands all that well.
Mm-hmm. But, there are no big mana strategies really left besides Dilks. Dilks is the only one left, and he's on the other side of the bracket. So if you're Zach Allen, you're kind of in the clear right now. You get to play against this deck in front of you. You've beaten it a couple of times on the weekend, and you can tell he doesn't mind playing against it. He feels pretty comfortable with how the matchup is going. And this game is looking like more of the same here for Zach Allen as we head back over to Collins Mullen, who's got those 2 Vizier of Remedies, 2 Noble Hierarchs, a Gilded Goose, a handful of lands, and a food token on the battlefield. Mystery card drawn. No one knows what it is but Collins right now. And we will find out soon enough. But as you mentioned, Patrick, the inability to actually get Devoted Druid online right now. And this isn't a deck that plays something like a Gavney Township anymore to say, let's play some sort of creature-oriented battle.
No, it really is all about the combo. But even if you had something like Gavney Township, Batterskull is so dominating. It's so overwhelming. Even if you've ostensibly made some concessions to creature combat, it's just not going to be enough. Batterskull is too intense.
There's an attack for 4 Exalted. And you mentioned Batterskull and how intense it is. This is a great example of that because Zach Allen is able to just say, all right, I'll take 4.
Yep.
I'll go to 13. I can just get it back in a second, so let me get a Batterskull down via Stoneforge Mystic. And there is the very powerful artifact that will bring a Germ token along with it. And now this is nice Fang Kotal, so tapping out entirely, putting the shields down. Kotal will come in, that will draw a card. Looks like we're going to get an Eldamri's Call. That's fine. Zach doesn't seem to mind. Curious what this will be searching up.
And I would probably get Eternal Witness. Man, it's not that sensitive. Right now, having an extra chump blocker has some value to it. I guess Dustwatch Recruiter, you have enough mana to play it and activate. Maybe try to grind your way to some extra cards here. Find pieces you're missing.
All right. I hope for Collins Mullen that Zach doesn't fire that Sword of Feast and Famine. It'd be bad news if that were to take place. Uh-oh. Well...
It's not looking great. It's not looking,
I wouldn't say that it's looking great.
It's not looking great. So the sword gives protection from green on the flyer.
Yeah.
So Mullen can't block with the goose. Got one card in hand, which is valuable. That's going to be discarded.
Yeah.
Lands are going to untap.
Yep.
Hallen's, I think, been missing some land drops. So a handful of cards.
Implies he may have some spells in hand.
Might have some spells.
Yeah.
Mullen's position wasn't very good before the turn started.
That's true.
All right, main phase 2.
Yeah.
See what it looks like.
Oh, sure.
Okay, cool.
Okay. It's a fun card. Oko. Thief of Crowns.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Turn the Astrolabe into an elk. Got it. Make a food.
Bang.
Yeah, right back in Big
Fire's back.
Right back in Big Ern's face. Okay. Well, Zach Allen dominates that first game over Collins Mullen. Bant Snowblade very easily up a game over Devoted Devastation. Collins was on Mulligan the 6th there, but you can see just how difficult this matchup is.
Yeah, that was emblematic of what we've seen from Allen so far in the matchup. Mullen having maybe a draw to a fast combo, Allen having enough to fend it off, and then the second wave of Mullen stuff just being completely outclassed by Allen's presence on the battlefield.
Sideboards is where we're going to go. We'll take a look at Collins Mullen first, who's got 4 Path to Exile, 3 Mirren Crusader, 3 Veil of Summer, 2 Collector Roof, 2 Disdainful Stroke, and a Dismember. The unfortunate thing here is it's really hard to poke a hole in exactly what Zach Allen's doing. If you bring in Paths, sure, you can take care of Stoneforge Mystic, you can take care of Spellquellers, but it's not always about that. You bring in Mirren Crusaders, well, Zach's got Paths. He's got ways to handle that card. I don't think that card is bad, but I don't think it's the end-all, be-all.
I just don't think that Mullen can position himself to be a conventional attacking and blocking deck at all in the matchup. Even Mirren Crusader is very easily outclassed by equipment, and it's not like Allen is exclusively on green and black cards to begin with. Mm-hmm. So I suppose you could bring in Path. It's not the worst, but
I don't love it.
I would really, in Mullen's position, be close to just presenting the same 60.
Yeah, I don't think that... So those top cards, the 4 Paths and the Mirren Crusaders, I think those are the only cards that are really underneath consideration. Veil of Summer's not great. Collector Oof isn't particularly good. Disdainful Stroke doesn't really counter anything. And then the 1 Dismember, okay, sure.
Right. I mean, if you're trying to fight over Semantic Creatures and Stoneforge Mystic, Dismember's a lot more appealing than Path to Exile. So
yeah.
That one's easy to bring in, I suppose.
For Zach Allen, he's got 2 On Thin Ice, 2 Veil of Summer, 2 Mystical Dispute, 2 Rest in Peace. Ceremonious Rejection, Dampening Sphere, Disdainful Stroke, Winds of Abandon, Detention Sphere, Sword of Fire and Ice, and Supreme Verdict are the one-ofs, and that means he's got some goodies to bring to the table.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier here for Mullen post-board. 2 copies of On Thin Ice, the Detention Sphere, Supreme Verdict, Sword of Fire and Ice, Winds of Abandon. It's a lot.
Yeah, and
it's a lot.
And what Zach can do here in this match, taking a look at his deck list, is he can board out the Force Negations, he can board out the Mana Leaks if he wants to. Heck, he can board out some number of Arcane's Astrolabes, if he wants to.
Right. I mean, he's got... none of his cards are actively bad. There's some that are more narrow than others, but he's got major upgrades to making the sideboard, and yeah, it probably comes at the expense of Force of Negation. On the draw, maybe Mana Leak's more likely to be the card too, but Allen gets better post-board.
Well, we are going to hear from our friends over at Ultimate Guard, and then we're going to come back and bring you game number 2 of this match between Collins Mullen and Zach Allen. We are back, getting ready to watch game number 2 between Collins Mullen and Zach Allen. Devoted Devastation against Bant Snowblade. Zach Allen has been making short work of this matchup all weekend long, and he's got the opportunity to do it once again here. And if he does so, he stays alive and Collins Mullen goes home. We got to eliminate 4 more people to figure out who's going to be coming back tomorrow. That'll be a windswept heat to kick things off here for Collins Mullen. He's going to fall down to at least 19, but probably 17, and there that is, with a Temple Garden that will enter the battlefield untapped. There's a Giver of Runes to give some creatures protection, and we're going to head back over to Zach Allen. Alright, very simply, a land is going to enter the battlefield tapped there for Zach, so no acceleration, no Arcum's Astrolabe.
Good news there from Mullen, no threat of a turn 2 Oko.
But all that means to me is that Zach Allen has some sort of answer, but are his answers going to be good enough, as Giver of Runes and Devoted Druid are now on the battlefield? Remember, Giver can protect the Druid, and then Druid in combination with Vizier gives you infinite green mana to be able to win the game from there, ideally, if your hand is cooperating. So Zach Allen's going to sacrifice a fetch land. And it's time maybe for a Stoneforge Mystic. Well,
I mean, Allen sort of saying here, I can't really pretend to keep up appearances. I don't have enough counterspells that would keep Mullen off of going for it if I were to say go here with 2 mana up, so might as well try to advance my board and hope that Mullen doesn't have it all rolled up.
and the question is, does Mullen have it all rolled up? As he drew a copy of Noble Hierarch. Now, he looks like he does have Aldamri's Call in hand. But if he's shuffling his opponent's deck, I think we play on.
Force negation. You don't know if it's going to resolve.
That's true.
You don't know.
A green and a white. Aldamri's Call. Force negation.
See?
Yeah.
Play through it.
Exiling Teferi. And that's put a crimp in his style, I think. This is a Noble Hierarch. And just going to pass the turn back with Giver of Runes still up and at the ready, so we head back over to Zach Allen. And that'll be a land that enters the battlefield tapped. And Mullen will sacrifice a Windswept Heath on the end step. He'll fall down to 16. Well, Zach Allen has done the one thing he needs to in this matchup, is he will not let Devoted, Druid, plus Vizier of Remedies ever get on the battlefield at the same time.
And we might just be in a repeat now for what we've seen from Allen so far, is fend off the initial push for a combo, make the game about attacking and blocking on the battlefield, and dominate with Stoneforge Mystic, equipment, and flash creatures.
Yeah, see, that's the one thing, is that once you get into the fair game, as we saw in the last game, it's not that hard
No.
for Allen to win it. Now, to Mullen's credit, and for Team Lotus Box, they have built a deck which is very, very good at putting together this combination of cards at least once. That part's pretty easy. Plenty of Tutors and Finale Devastation and Aldamri's Call, but being able to put it together multiple times through Disruption has proven to be quite difficult.
Yeah. As far as combo decks go, it's a lot more about being fast than about being resilient.
Oh, there's a Walking Ballista. Here's your activation. Looks like it might be B-Skull time. And it is B-Skull time. So, Germ Token on the way for the Batterskull. And we head back over to Zach. He'll start, looks like with a fetch land. And now he's going to come in with the Batter Skull. Mullen is thinking about blocking with Walking Ballista.
Yeah, I mean, he has Giver to protect.
I mean, pro-black, of course.
Right.
Because that's the color of
The germ.
token.
Yep.
But what that means is that Giver is down, and now the ability to kill Devoted Druid is now available. And Winds of Abandon looks like it's going to do exactly that.
Super cool.
So that's a more expensive version of Path to Exile, but with some higher upside. Now this one's a sorcery. Path is an instant. You exile target creature you don't control, or Path you can target your own creature. For each creature exiled this way, its controller search the library for a basic land card. You put on the battlefield tap, but it's the overload that is scary with this card.
Yeah,
4 white.
It's perfect for this kind of matchup because Mullen has nothing productive to do with this extra mana.
Yes.
So it's very, very close to free.
You're not accelerating him to anything. Suppose you're thinning a land out of his deck. A minor thing to mention. We're going to head back over to Collins. I guess there is one thing he can do with the extra mana. Ballista.
That doesn't count as a thing because it's not powerful enough for this game.
Oh.
But yes, it's technically true.
All right.
When I said he had nothing to do with the mana, I should have clarified he has nothing good to do with the mana.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Oh, yeah? What about this? Deputy of Detention.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Mullen looking like someone who's about to be tagged by that sideboard Supreme Verdict.
Oh,
It's just a sense I'm getting here.
you got a feeling?
I got a feeling.
All right, I'm going to say this.
I'm gonna close my eyes, wake me up in 30 seconds. Let me know what the game looks like.
If Zach tunes up the band with that Stoneforge Mystic.
I can already. It's just been a weird game for Mullen so far.
Yeah.
You know, he's been a little inefficient with his mana here.
Mm-hmm.
I just get that sense.
If he were to tune up the old band, it could be bad news. Looks like we're getting an activation of old Stoneforge. What's this? Sword of Fire and Ice. Well, you better,
Doesn't mean a whole lot just yet.
not over time, though.
I just got a feeling, you know.
I'm going to wake you up. I'll wake you up in 20 seconds.
All right. Well, shut eye.
Get cozy in that Karnak's chair.
Is he in combat with the Stoneforge?
He's
Mystic
not in
yet?
combat yet. No, hold on. Hang tight.
Okay.
He's tapping mana in his main phase. He's going to equip the Stoneforge Mystic in the face of a Walking Ballista that has 2 counters on it. All right.
Well, Mullen doesn't have the mana available to pump it again, so if he
Yeah.
wants to use up the Ballista, sure, whatever.
Kind of into it. Force the action. Okay. Go ahead and shoot it down. I dare you. You can open your eyes now.
Okay.
No verdict.
Yeah, the equipping of the sword takes
Yeah.
it off the table.
No verdict. All right, there's your trade. So it looks like Ballista is going to trade with Stoneforge, so no equip. Your follow-up is a fetch. This would be a good battlefield for Oko.
Yeah, even in the face of Giver of Runes, you just make food.
Yeah.
The food, where's the sword?
Well, you make a food and then Oko's has 1,000 loyalty counters
Right.
on it.
So,
I'm not saying I would ever play a Snowblade type deck, but if I did, I would probably play this one. Noble Hierarch wears a sword just fine. All right. Let's head back over to Collins Mullen, who's going to need a really good draw step. I think Oko's a good place for him to start if he can find it. He's reaching for some mana.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only card I think that he has in his deck that has enough, can do enough heavy lifting in a conventional game to give him a shot here. He's really far away from doing anything with the combo, so that's off the table.
Yeah, I don't think the rest is particularly good, and he didn't find anything of consequence to do, so we head back over to Zach Allen now. And is there a way for Zach to actually get through? Oh, here's a place to start. Beatdowns. Block. Pro green. Okay. That doesn't seem to care much. That means the giver's down. And now it's a Stoneforge Mystic Post combat. Might be time for that Sword of Feast and Famine if he's left it in. It doesn't appear as though he has. So instead, Colin's going to sacrifice a fetch land. No, I think Zach Allen has the better draws in the balance, but okay.
Oko can blow this game open for Mullen. Still good enough to maybe get him over the line.
Yeah, I would agree.
Even Dustwatch Recruiter would not be a shabby draw here.
Start to grind him out?
Yeah.
Shall I, Voice of Plenty?
Yeah, plenty good here. From Allen's side, you'd like to find a flyer, or you'd like to find a removal spell for Giver of Runes. Those are the two big prizes from here.
The Coldal would be unbelievable right now. I think I'll fly in and give some beatdowns. Big draw step here for Collins Mullen. Remember, his tournament life is at stake. Both of these players have their tournament life at stake. But Collins Mullen is already down a game, and now he's going to play. Okay.
All right.
Duskwatch Recruiter is a nice top deck. Okay, here we go.
Bit of mana to work with, too.
Activate the Recruiter. 2, 3 cards. Eternal Witness.
Okay.
Okay. That's a little something for later on, or for next turn, get back a Walking Ballista, do things that way. Alrighty, alright. Beatdowns there with the Deputy Detention. It's going to be a 2-4 because of the Exalted trigger. So no good blocks to be had. Allen's going to fall down to 12. And Zach Allen does not have an Ice-Fang Coldal on the end step. So Zach Allen, he's got some work to do here because Collins Mullen looks like he might be coming back. And it's not a great time to cast Supreme Verdict, I don't think, because the opponent has an Eternal Witness in hand. That's probably at least fine because the Deputy Detention would die and the Batter School would come back. But for now, we're going to head back over to Collins Mullen, who has a Duskwatch Recruiter on the battlefield. That's about to transform, have you? Because Zach Allen didn't play a spell.
Now, Allen can get it transformed back with Eternal Witness plus
Vizier of Remedies as an example. That's an option afforded to Mullen if things break a certain way. But for now, the Recruiter will transform into the Crowlin Howler Horde.
Yeah, Allen would much rather have it as the Horde right now and prevent Mullen from buying any extra cards, but not the hardest thing for Mullen to turn it back over and keep grinding through.
So that Werewolf is having an impact on this game. That's a heck of a top deck there. Sword of Fire and Ice, not the right protection at this stage of things. Pro Blue and Pro Red. It does have the ability to take over a game upon connection, but it has not happened yet. So we keep the focus here on Collins Mullen, who's going to get in an attack here for 4 points of damage. It does not appear that there are good blockers at the moment for Zach Allen. Zach was actually maybe considering a block there with Stoneforge Mystic. It's actually going to be a double block. That's interesting. Are we trying to force the hand of that Giver of Runes?
Well, if you're able to force the hand with Giver of Runes, you got a shot at connecting with the Sword of Fire and Ice next turn.
Make a very good point. It's an interesting double block. All right. Yeah, so that should be... No, it's a 4-4. No, it's not that. Oh, that's right. That's right. It's a 4-4 into a 2, 3, and a 1, 2. So it's a bad double block there from Zach.
Yeah, I think Zach lost track of the Exalted Trigger there.
Yes, he did. It's a bad double block there for Zach Allen. Now there's Vizier of Remedies. Well, you know what? You know what I'm thinking?
What you thinking?
The verdict may be in. It'd be a heck of a time to draw it. Can't play around it if you're Collins. You know it's in the sideboard, but what can you do about it? You got to hope he doesn't draw it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be the whole battlefield and would unlock the Batterskull, but if Mullen tries to play around it, it's just going to take so many turns to end the game. You can lose to other stuff.
Now here's Noko. Wants to go after a Giver of Ruins. Giver of Ruins may respond by giving something protection from a color. It looks like that's going to resolve. So there you go. Zach is going to equip his Sword of Fire and Ice onto the Stoneforge Mystic. That's a 3/4. So Zach Allen with a misstep on the double block, it appears. Did not go well for him. He did finally find an answer to the Giver of Runes. And now it just makes you wonder what that last card in his hand is. Keep in mind the Winds of Abandon has already been played this game. It's in the graveyard, so not drawing to that card to overload.
Big draw there from Mullen. Another copy of Noble Hierarch. Gives him the opportunity to attack down the Oko or force a chump block.
Yeah, we know how difficult it is to kill an Oko. So you'd prefer to have that off the battlefield if you can.
But you are right. This can all be undone by the one copy of Supreme Verdict.
That's all it takes. One top deck. Especially Eternal Witness has already been cast. One great top deck. You know Allen has it in the deck. He brought it in previously. You got our head judge, Jared Silva, going to prompt Collins Mullen to make a play. And it looks like he might be considering some attacks here. Remember, the Giver of Runes right now is a 3/3 elk, so that's going to get busy. Along with a couple other knuckleheads. And these bozos are going after Oko.
I mean, I'm inclined here to take the money and run. Just block the Dutch Watch Recruiter. Lose your Oko. And the game is at something resembling parity at that point.
It looks like Zach Allen's going to agree with you. So, Oko bites the dust in exchange for a Duskwatch Recruiter. What is this? Ballista. 1. 2. We'll take care of you. Well, I'm all in.
Here is everything.
I don't think that was it. A fetch land, he'll just pass the turn. The verdict is not in. Now, does Zach Allen die this turn?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9. Yeah, he does. Ballista becomes a 3/3 and shoots for 3 other combat, so that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's actually not even that close.
Okay.
Assuming the last card is nothing.
Well, that's the hope here for Collins. I think you have to play the turn as though the last card is nothing. I don't think you can try to play around Path to Exile or anything like that. You'd have to hope that Zach Allen has nothing.
It's also just, all right, well, that's Allen's last card. Now he's got one draw to Supreme Verdict, even if he can survive this combo.
If he paths Deputy Detention, he gets his Batterskull back.
Oh, yeah.
And then that makes
right,
it
yeah, that's the
difficult.
whole.
Yeah, that's the whole house of cards may crumble there. So there's your Walking Ballista activation. And Zach Allen's going to take some damage. And you pump up the jam again.
Even in that scenario, your walking ballista might allow you to weave through it. But
It very well may, but that scenario is not going to come to fruition as Collins Mullen is going to win this game here over Zach Allen. Devoted Devastation actually won a normalized game against Bant Snowblade.
Pretty hard to do. It involved getting the Battler Skull off the battlefield, but Allen not able to find any way to break through with any of his creatures plus equipment, and Mullen just dominated on the battlefield. First time we've seen it.
Didn't expect it, but that's what happened. That's why you play the games. Mullen, Allen getting ready for a third and final one here. So there you go. Allen will be on the player for game number 3, and you see both players not even really going back to the sideboard. Zach Allen's already shuffling up. He likes his configuration, and it looks like Colin may think some things through a little bit here. So while these players do get ready for the third and final game, winner is still alive. Loser is out. Let's talk about Theros. Beyond Death. We've already got some previews out for that. Elspeth and Ashiok and I think it's pronounced Atheros? I think. Athreos. I got it right. That's what intern Rob just told me.
That's sweet.
That black-white, the Orzhov god. Got that right. Nailed it. Devotion's back. Escape is a new mechanic and a whole bunch more. I think Constellation is back too from what I've seen. SCG Premium member price is $94.99, so you can be a member of Premium and get these booster boxes a little bit cheaper every day. Low price, $99.99. You can barely read that part because we slashed it out. Pre-order now. StarCityGames.com/THB.
It pays for itself.
It really does.
The subscription just pays for itself. You get these deep discounts, sealed product, singles,
read the best
supplies.
Read the best articles on the web about Magic, like Sullivan's Satchel.
Send me questions. Mailbag at StarCityGames.com. Send me questions. They will cancel the column. If you do not send me the questions, and when it gets posted, read it. Because, again, they will cancel it.
To be clear, they is me.
Right.
I will cancel the column.
And I got mouths to feed.
That's right. A lot of them.
Yeah.
A lot of them. And I can make that stop if you don't read the articles.
So read the articles.
You get premium. You get 5% off sealed products, 10% off singles, 15% off supplies, and the satchel.
And the satchel.
And the satchel. That's on the house, the satchel.
Yes.
You also get articles from Brad Nelson, Shaheen Sarani, Jerry Thompson, Sheldon Menery, Sam Black, Paulo Vitor, Damo DeRosa, Todd Anderson, Emma Handy, Sam Black, Ross Merriam. Look at that graphic. Bang.
Me?
It's outdated.
Me now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just not even...
That's the old premium.
That's not even accurate.
That's right.
Rob
going to pull that down.
Where's my coffee?
It's seriously 6 o'clock.
It is seriously
6 o'clock.
I'm seriously not interested in being critiqued on what time it is.
6 o'clock. You don't need any more coffee, I promise.
I got this and 2 more rounds to cover today.
Yeah.
It's coffee or it's something else. You pick. We're winding down. It's up to you.
I think you've had like 4 cups today.
I don't know. I don't keep track.
I think you should.
I don't keep track.
I think you really should. Goodness. A couple other really quickly here. Ben Friedman, Andrew Ellenbogen, Brian Gottlieb, Benny Smith, Pete Chapin, Ari Lax, Autumn Burchett, and a personal favorite of mine, Chaz Andres. Our financial expert. Puts together some great articles. I was thinking about dusting the pen off.
You know, I know this is the first Players' Championship that we haven't had a coffee pot out in the middle of the floor. It's the first one. I don't know what happened. I don't ask. I'm just trying to get it solved.
I feel like by mentioning it, you're asking.
No, I'm implying that I want a cup of coffee. I'm not that picky about how it gets taken care of.
Okay. How do you feel like gas station coffee?
Usually pretty negative. I mean, that's not really like a blend. You know what I mean? It's just these gas stations has their own
We're going to
coffee.
get you that.
I mean, I like a 7-Eleven. It don't have to be that.
I knew you were going to say that.
It don't have to be that. I'm not that picky.
Unbelievable.
Take a Wawa, you know.
Yeah, a little Wawa, huh? Yeah, close to 7-Eleven, other side of town, bud. Sorry.
All right. If Rob wanted to pump that into my headset,
you want to fire some Uber Eats?
That implies that no one's getting me coffee right now.
No one's getting you 7-Eleven coffee.
I don't have a car. So how do you want me to get to the other side of town?
They have a neat little thing called Uber.
You want me to hitchhike?
A little lift?
A little hitchhike through Roanoke?
That's right. How bad you want that coffee, bud?
Pretty bad.
Okay. This implies 7-Eleven coffee is a blend? Is that true?
Well, I mean, the beans come from somewhere. I don't know that.
A giver of runes here from Collins. This is an on thin ice. Goodbye, giver. You must leave now. On thin ice from Modern Horizons, is that right? That's the name of that busted set?
Mm-hmm. It's Chain of the Rocks, but for snow.
That's right. Enchant Snowland you control. When On Thin Ice enters the battlefield, target creature and opponent controls until On Thin Ice leaves the battlefield. Rob has just promised you 7-Eleven coffee.
Don't make promises you can't keep,
I
Rob.
agree with that. It's bold. I think he'll do it.
Okay.
What do they have? Do they have Grande?
No, they just have cups.
I bet that, yeah.
You put it in a cup, and then the cashier checks you out.
I hope they just call it big.
Yeah, but large, and then extra large.
Yeah.
If you go to 7-Eleven and ask for a Grande, they will call the cops.
Large.
It's not that kind of spot.
Large is large.
Yeah.
This is an Oko.
Damn, that card's good.
It's that card's that card's a lot.
Running out of things to say.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's really the only way. It's really the only way to tackle it. Well, it's down to 4 now.
Yep.
So how about that? It's down to 4 loyalty.
That Oko is not going anywhere.
It's a humdinger. Neither is that one either, I don't think. Well, actually, that's headed to the exile zone.
Thank you, Zach.
Exiled the Supreme Verdict.
Thank you, Zach.
Not an option anymore. That may matter. That may matter. See, that's one of those instances where the card's blue. That's why I play it.
Yeah, I play it because it's blue.
Because it's blue.
Pitch it to force.
Mm-hmm. Force negation looking good there. Let's pump up the jam here on this food. I like some beatdowns, but I always do.
Yeah, run him down. He's already at 16.
There you go. 13 now. That's a Sullivan-approved attack right there. Put that in the satchel.
Love to see it.
We're heading back to Mullen. We're going to get a little transformation here. That's a 3-3. Oh, my goodness. Someone has brought you another cup of coffee. This is unbelievable.
Hell yeah.
I would have never brought him that. Wow.
Yes.
You've really got a stranglehold on the crew here.
No, they like me and it's supporting the work.
16 ounces of garbage. All right, good for you. Good for you. Proud. Is it hot?
Straight out of the Keurig.
Okay.
I can smell it.
I'm glad.
You said you were going to get a cup, I thought.
I decided not because coffee's disgusting. Path to Exile is going to take care of Duskwatch Recruiter. And now we have a forest. And this is Eternal Witness. Not the best of targets there in Once Upon a Time, but it's better than nothing. And now there's a Giver of Runes. That's a nice Fang Coatl. And Zach's going to draw a card. We're going to head back over to Zach now. He generally wins kind of the normal style of Magic games in this matchup. If it's creature combat and all that jazz, he's heavily favored. Didn't win the last game when it was based around that, but you can tell he's doing really well in this one.
Yeah, last game was kind of a weird one, but all the other ones we watched him play in this matchup over the course of this tournament, now several days, when the game's gotten into this sort of position, he has been able to win pretty easily.
And there's some Elk beatdowns. Looks like Ice Fang Coatl's going to hang back on defense, prepared to do some blocking. Perhaps. Oko's going to make a food up to 7 loyalty. The only thing Zach's really missing right now is lands, but he's going to play one of those. Looks like a Misty Rainforest. Pass the turn back over to Colin's Mullen. Mullen will untap his lands. Remember, he has a copy of Once Upon a Time in hand, and he will draw a card. We're working our way over 45 minutes in this match. Again, it's an elimination match here in the lower bracket of the StarCityGames.com Players Championship. Winner stays. Loser goes home.
And if Alan went ahead and just decided to make a food here instead of doing anything about Giver of Runes, I'm guessing his hand has a Spell Queller in it. Because he's just saying, I want to try to run this game down as fast as possible. And if Mullen tries to add anything to the battlefield this turn, I counter it. I get a 2-power flyer for my trouble. I can untap. I can turn my other food into an elk and try to just win the game in 2 hits.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. And there's really nothing Mullen can do about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because not going after the Giver suggests that you don't care about the threat of any sort of combo piece lining up. And the most obvious reason to feel that way is if you had a counterspell rolled up.
Sure. So, P-Silly's got the read on a Spell Queller here in the hand of Zach Allen. That's a Misty Rainforest. Every point of damage is certainly going to matter here for Collins. As he's starting to roll up the sleeves and figure out exactly what he wants to do on the turn. Keep in mind, he does have a copy of Once Upon a Time in hand. That we know. 4 mana here. I think that's gonna be a no. He'll sacrifice a fetch land here, will Zach Allen. Getting a snow-covered forest. There's your Spell Queller. It's a good card to Spell Quell, too, there in Walking Ballista, because it'll come back as a 0/0 and die right away.
Yep, one of the safer things to Queller. And it's not like Mullen has all the removal in the world anyway, but nice little bonus.
Now, I think you may have predicted a partner looking to take a more aggressive slant to this game to try to get it over with just as quickly as possible, which does make a lot of sense. You want to continue to push and press your advantage while you do have Oko on the battlefield. So, Allen will do some untapping. He'll take a draw. He may not need much past this on the battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be shocked to just see Oko turn the remaining food into an elk, send it all in. Mullen blocks however he blocks, and you set up for next turn with a bunch of flyers.
Yeah, I thought there was I thought there was a chance we may see this too, which is old Swapsies.
I don't mind a swap.
Yeah. Giver of Runes is going to give protection. Probably green. And it says, here you go. Got some food for you there, bro. Really. What a guy.
Yep, very generous.
What a guy. You have Spell to play? You have Field of Ruin. Sure. Gonna Field of Ruin the breeding pool, huh? Alright. Both these players going to search. I think this is in an effort to keep Mullen off of blue mana, perhaps for Oko. And Zach knows the deck list. So I think you
gotta get your Stone Rain. I mean, regardless of what the reason is, you gotta get.
You wouldn't pass it up. I know that.
Absolutely not.
So Zach's brain is working in overdrive. Knows that Mullen is only playing a couple of basics in his deck, and he said, "I can Field of Ruin you off of a land right now. Comes at very little cost to me." So he takes advantage and does exactly that. And now there's a Teferi. And Teferi's going to come down. It's going to bounce Spell Queller.
Seen this one before.
Yeah, it's a cute little play there. Walking Ballista goes to exile because of Spell Queller's text in combination with Teferi. Oh, not a bad turn there for Zach. Zach is just going to continue to build a battlefield that Mullen cannot get through.
And I think now we've hit the point of no return. I don't think that Mullen has any path to be able to get his combo pieces into play. I think being able to slog through this battlefield by conventional attacking and blocking is no longer in the cards. Mullen might be able to hang on here for a couple more turns, but I think we might be at an unsalvageable position for him.
Well, I think the position here is unwinnable, and part of the reason for that is if you're Collins, even if you were to draw piece one of your combo, which is Devoted Druid, that's an elk now. Because Zach has built the battlefield in such a fashion that he's being the proactive player and can respond in kind to anything that Collins Mullen is doing. So I think Collins, I don't know if there's an out in this spot, but he would know better than us. He's the one playing the deck. He's the one making the deep run in the tournament. So we'll see, as he'll take a draw. And he's already reaching for mana, 2 of it, in fact. That's a Once Upon a Time. Top handful of cards here from Mullen. He'll take a look at 5 of them. Ideally take one with him, assuming the deck does cooperate. And we've seen a Horizon Canopy, so we know that it will. And there is a Devoted Druid. But it is so late to the party. It will get deployed. And that may be Mullen's entire turn. But that's not scary right now.
Nope. Just another thing for Oko to chew up. Allen's got Spell Queller as cover anyway. We know about that from last turn.
We'll head back over to Allen, who does have that Spell Queller in hand, as you did mention. He'll play a land for the turn. Looks like a Windswept Heath. Elevator going up on Oko. He's going to turn that into a 3/3 right now.
And no reason to get risky at all here.
Yeah, it looks like Zach is going to play this game from a position of strength. Because as you mentioned, he doesn't need to get risky at all. So now there's a Stoneforge Mystic. He'll trigger that. He's never going to put the shields down on the Spell Queller now, of course.
No, I mean, he's going to Oko anything with a text box that is remotely threatening for the purposes of setting up a combo. He's going to leave 3 mana up so that Spell Queller can capture anything that Mullen tries to cast. It might take him a couple more turns to win this game, but Allen knows he's in a position where if he plays carefully, he is at 100% to win. So there's no rush to do anything.
Yeah, and this is one of those times. There's no need to get reckless because there's really very little chance of him losing. The way he loses is by getting reckless and making some sort of error. And by playing conservatively here with his Oko and with his attacking and blocking, more importantly his attacking, he's not going to let Collins work through anything. And I think Collins is coming to that realization right now that the walls have closed in, and Zach is just going to play in such a fashion where he's never going to get the opportunity to do anything relevant.
The battlefield is covered with what Allen has on the battlefield. Spell Queller covers the top of the deck, and that's all that Mullen can do.
Yeah. And you see Mullen, I think he's thinking about laying his hand down and saying, I'm just beat.
Yeah, every path is a dead end.
Yeah.
So.
In a situation like this, where if you lose, you're out of the tournament, you'd certainly want to play on. But, you saw him do that little head nod in the way he started holding his cards and just saying,
yeah,
I don't have an avenue.
Yeah, I thought, he looked like he was, I got the same vibe that was considering tapping out here.
Once upon a time, not sure what it can cough up, but Zach says, take your best look. You can tell me how the story begins because Zach knows how the story ends. It ends with him winning another match over Devoted Devastation. Once upon a time done resolving. Devoted Druid going to come down. And it's not like that Druid has haste or anything like that. So Zach will sacrifice eventually. He's going to fall down to 15. It's one of those times where I just think Zach has played a very, very good game.
Yep, and this is this game has taken the exact shape that Allen wants in the matchup, and that he's been able to execute several times, which is fend off the combo and then make the game look like this, where he has vastly superior tools to play it.
I think he's done a really, really nice job of things here. No doubt about it. And draw a card with the Horizon Canopy now. He'll be untapping. Teferi's going to go up to 3. Oko's going to go to 4 or 5 here in just a second. You see that he's put a huge priority on just turning those devoted druids into elks. However, if an Icefang Coldwell is wearing a Sword of Fire and Ice, he doesn't really need to do that. So, 2 mana. Sword of Fire and Ice. Equip. Beat down. I think we can see the 2 damage from the sword take care of the Devoted Druid, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Looks like Collins wants to take a look to see, you kill that, do I draw the card? I believe the answer is still yes. Well, Jared, you tell us.
I don't know, there's one target. I would assume that you don't get to draw it.
Well, then maybe he doesn't. Jared Silva's the judge. He'll let us know.
Yep.
Organized play manager and head judge of this tournament here for Star City Games. No card drawn. Hallowed Fountain tapped. Spell Queller Shields down, it appears. Let's plus it to Teferi. And we're going to plus the Oko and make a food.
Yeah, might as well make a food here in case you want to swap next turn.
Ah, the old swapperoo, huh?
Who knows how much any of it matters.
It's true. Back to Collins. And play it out to the bitter end. He's had a really, really good year as Collins. No title this year. Won his first Open a couple of years ago with Humans in Cincinnati. But he's been an SCG Tour mainstay ever since. And him and Team Lotus Box have really shown just how good they can be, as there is an Oko. Maybe the best draw there for Collins Mullen, now that that Spell Queller Shield is down.
Yeah, but what do you even... I mean...
What do you elk? That's what you're here for, your color commentary.
I
I just say what happens. That's my job.
Yeah, I guess the sword... I don't know.
It's not a bad choice.
I don't worry too much about it.
Oh,
Sure. Okay.
make a food.
Well, now this is just lethal, right? Because the coil's 5, and you can give her anything to give her pro green.
Well, I believe... Okay, so he made the food into an elk, yeah. So 5 loyalty is correct.
The
yeah.
whole board's green,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the whole board's green, as far as I know. Elk's tokens are green. Hierarchs are green. So yeah, this should be give literally anything plus green.
The coil's 5.
Yeah. By my math, you are correct, sir.
Still got it.
Never lost it? Think that's true? Okay, gonna say a little fetch land here, huh? We gonna try to go out in style? What's the plan?
Batter Skull equip onto the coil.
Well,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
you can just do that via Stoneforge.
Yeah,
Slide it
you
that
don't even
one.
need to cast it.
No.
Don't even need to cast it.
You don't have to expose it to anything. It's been a long day here for both these players, so you do wonder if Zach sees the W on the battlefield here.
He's talked about he's had some struggles with some post-combat hierarchs in this tournament.
Yeah.
Wants to make sure he's a point short.
Yeah, he's gonna come up one short right now.
I'm not missing something, right? It just
No, I don't think so. I hope post-combat hierarch.
Yep.
That he drew, of course, off of the sword. For what it's worth.
It's okay. A little ultra-conservative play here is not going to get him in any trouble.
No. That's how far ahead he is this game. He's going to plus to Teferi. Let's figure out a way for him to use Oko, no Joko. Make that food into an elk token. Pardon me. Soon enough, Zach Allen will win. I'll tell you what. I promise you that much. We'll be here as long as Zach is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
Hunkered down in that Carnox chair.
Yeah.
That's why we got the comfy chairs, bud. No more of whatever the heck we were sitting on all those years ago.
Collins, no shame in releasing it.
Oh, here we go.
No shame.
What about this? How do you beat that?
I mean, just
Any
card in Allen's hand or on the battlefield.
How do you beat that? Okay, there it is. Zach Allen's going to win this game and match you over Collins Mullen.